Right, thank you for joining me. What am I doing here? These are the very first initial thoughts on the Cyansky or however you want to pronounce it. This is the HS5R. If you remember, I did the HS6R. This looks like a right angle, but it isn't, because I haven't been able to get it out this cage. You see this cage that goes over the top of it? The two stainless steel looking wires. I'm going to try with some snipe nose or needle nose pliers, see if I can get them out. But it does rotate. It goes nearly all the way up and 90 degrees down, and it's pretty good so far. It's only a 2 strap rather than a 3. I prefer a 3 because you get less jiggle, and it opens up options for running and things like that where you really need that sort of thing. But quite interesting, because even though it just looks like a single emitter, it does have a secondary behind there. And as I can see, if I can get a good shot here, I'm doing this in 4K HDR, so hopefully the quality stays there. It has a flap there. It's okay flap, and it does stay in. I have tried it in and out. That sounds a bit rude. No, but I have tried it in and out. It's okay. I just, you know what I'm like with these USB flaps have to be really good, because I don't want them opening and then you ruin the waterproofing. Bearing in mind the waterproofing claim on this one is an IPX8. In other words, it is waterproof even if you submerge that in water up to, I think it's 1.5 meters, so pretty good. It also has a 2 meter drop rate, and that's above a lot of the other ones, which is like 1.5, even stuff from Nightcore. So I'm pretty impressed so far with that. I like the tail cap. It's very sort of rugged, and it's been great so far. I've had this in and out of bags, but again, these are initial thoughts because I haven't done a full review yet. There will be a point when I have done that. I'll show you the modes when I stick it on my head, but I just want to give you a good look at it. It's on a metal plate, which I'll try and give you a good look at there. But can you see how it's smoothed off? So when I first got this, I thought, oh no, metal, is that going to annoy my forehead? It doesn't, and this is soft. Like I say, just a 2-pointer though, and it does rotate. But pretty good so far, and it's got a few modes, and the button is slightly recessed. Look, so if we look at the profile there, and then I rotate, you see it's enough, but it does have a lock, which is weird. Instead of like 4 clicks on something like one of the more well-known UIs, this uses its own UI. It's not Angular or anything like that. It's like double click, which is weird because that normally takes you to turbo, but okay, that's just what they've decided, because there is 2 emitters in here. So bear with me a few seconds, because I'm doing this one-handed, so I'll turn that off and then I'll get this stuck on my head. So bear with me a few seconds here. Very unprofessional this, but as you can see, I'm in the pitch black here. So at least you can see that, because I like to get away from all the unnatural light sources. So let's turn this on. So to turn it on, it's click and hold. So there's click and hold, and you have low, medium, high and turbo. So we'll show you them. So this is low. You probably can't even see anything. So you see that tree there? So that's low, and I'll go to the right, and then I'll go to the left, and then we'll have a look down on the floor. So imagine you're walking around. Look, there's my foot in the mud. So you see that? It's not that bad. Yes, you can walk by that. I've tried. I've also tried with the red. The red was okay. I've seen brighter reds, but you don't want the red to be too bright. So that's low. And then 1 click takes you to medium. That's not bad, is it? Medium. Now low, strangely, you don't seem to have like a 1 lumen mode, which is strange. It goes all the way up to 1300 lumens on its maximum, which I'll show you. So this is medium. I've stretched out there. I'm looking into the distance. That's okay. I mean, I certainly can't see the distance, but you can hike by this. You know, I'm out in the cold and the wet here. I would be confident using this in this mud. It really wouldn't bother me. Tilt's okay. I haven't tested the CRI, and I can't detect with my eyes anyway any pulse width modulation, but I will look for that in the full review. But pretty decent so far. I'm liking it. So that's medium. And then you've got high, so go high now, 1 click, boosh, there's high. That's pretty good, look. Width-wise, it's okay. Now I'll move to the far right. There, can you see? There's a little bit of peripheral there. It's pretty good, it's not that bad, because it's a TIR, you see. So you're getting a little bit of spread. Although, strangely, even though it's a TIR, they've picked in SFT, so not the SST, but the SFT40 as the emitter, and then it has something like an Everright or an Everready 2235 or whatever it was for the red light, but I'll go over that in a moment. But this is pretty good, isn't it? I would run by this. I would maybe want something a bit with a wider view, maybe depending on the terrain. I mean, this is a more established trail, but if I was going down there into the water and stuff like that, you know, and through other obstacles, I'd probably want a little bit of a wider view. But it is TIR, and that is the sort of thing I go for, especially for excuse me, for wild camping and things like that. So that's as high, and then we'll show you turbo. So it's not up to its maximum yet, and I'm just feeling the head. I can't feel any heat. It's about 6 degrees Celsius here where I am at the moment in the night. So we'll go to turbo. Boosh, that's turbo. That's its maximum, 1300 claimed lumens. That's probably about that. Yeah, I would say. I'll tell you something, for a TIR, and I know I've discussed this before on the channel, just because it's a TIR doesn't mean you can't get a bit of throw, but I would say that's pretty throwy. So yeah, that's pretty good. Look, that's right down the corner there. In fact, we'll turn around. Look, let's see how far down here we can see. Let's have a look here. Look, you can see right to that curve there. That's pretty impressive. You know, it's nice, a little bit of tint shift. It's kind of a whitish tint, but I'll give you the full figures when I do the full review, obviously. I mean, what I want to do is, I'll show you the other modes. So click and hold goes off again. So if you click and hold for 1.5 seconds, you go to mode 2. So we'll do that. This is mode 2. So this is, they're calling this Eco. I must have a proper look because I don't know whether they're using the main beam, which is the SFT40 at the lowest, or if they've got another secondary, because I'm a bit confused by that. But it's almost like a little high CRI, although I can see a little bit of green in there maybe, I'm not sure. Let's have a look at these plants. I mean, they look pretty good, but this is an HDR. So you're getting the full 10-bit colour gamut the way I'm recording this, as long as you've got it on an HDR TV or something like that, or a good monitor. So it's picking out the greens and the browns. And then you've got click. So you've got red flash. So I'm just putting my hand here so you can see it because it's not really there. And then that's full red. So we'll just show you that on this foliage here. So it's okay. I mean, if we look down at my feet, would I walk with that? I wouldn't. Not in this particular environment, because there's a lot of mud, and mud doesn't really reflect a lot back. It doesn't give you a lot of feedback. I would probably twist an ankle. So not good enough for that, but okay for doing your washing and setting up a camp and things like that, and saving on energy. So if we click and hold again, we'll go back to the main modes. Right, we're back to the main modes. So if we go through them again, so we've got low, medium, high, turbo. Pretty good, eh? And then look, nice stretch out there. So what I'll do is I'll show you some of the other lights I'm testing it against, so you can say, well look, I've seen what this looks like, and let's compare it. Now there's another 7 or 8 I've been testing it with recently, and we'll go through them, but bear with me because I'm doing this one-handed, so it's a bit like having, you know, I'm not fully able-bodied because of that. So this is a good spot. So there's a little bit of push down there, and there's a bridge over there. Okay, so we'll turn this off and then I'll go through them. So in fact, we'll turn this down and then I'll show you them. Right, one of the lights I'm testing it against, turn that back on, but to its lowest setting. Right, I've got it on its lowest setting, so it's not interfering, but I just want to show them. So is the Lumen Top. So remember Lumen Top with the bunny there? Lumen Top HL3A, very underrated, triple emitter TIR, so you get a bit of spread, rather bright and lovely tint on this, and it's got like an anti-roll. So watch, so you turn it on, let me turn this off there. So there's its lowest, nice tint, eh? Not bad. And then watch, double click if I do it properly. I'm just a flashlight reviewer, you know, I'm not that good. Right, look at that. I think that's pretty impressive, look. Luckily there's a lot of water particles in the air, so you can see the beam there, look. I think that's pretty impressive. For a rather small 18650 flashlight. I really like that. Tint-wise, brilliant, very underrated, very light, very small, very compact. 90 degree, you can take it out the headband holder, which is very comfortable as well. So pretty nice, eh? So turn that off. I'll try and get through these rapidly because I know people get bored. They want to see the light I'm actually supposed to be talking about. You know, it might help. So the other one that I'm checking with, get my headlight back on, is the old Army Tech. This is the Wizard Pro. You can get the Wizard Pro. Now it's called ELF. Don't ask me why it's called ELF. It must have something to do with Christmas. Very rugged. 10 meter drop rating on this. 10 meters rather than the 2 meter on the Cyansky that I'm testing. And I have, look, in fact you can see there, I've dropped this from big heights and whacked it, and it's always survived. Got the mag charging, whereas it's USB charging on the Cyansky. But let's have a look at this. There it is. So get me headlamp turned off. Apologies here, I'm doing everything one-handed. I think that's pretty bright. Let's look at the beam. Quite piercing there, that, isn't it? Even though it is TIR, so you do get spread, because watch, when I do that and hold it above, look at that. Now tint, very warm tint here, and this does have quite a high output here. So rather than like the 800 to 1000, 1200 lumen range, this will go way up. I think it's 1800, 1850. It feels like that, but sometimes with a warmer tint, you sometimes feel like you're not getting that. I think you are with this though. Never had any problem with the Army Tech, although I know loads of people slag them off and go, I hate them, I hate Army Tech. The only problem I've ever had with Army-Tech was the headband snapped, and it took like 2 months for them to send me a new one. So, you know, bear that in mind. Okay, so turn that off. Boom. Turn it off. Okay, next one. What else was I testing it against? Well, I've been testing it against... What's going to come out here? Luminite, very expensive. Scandinavian company. Here you go. This is the Compass R. I love the attachment system. You see that like spring-loaded metal section there? It just pushes in, pushes out. There's no mucking about with rubber bands. Saves a hell of a lot of time. Nice wide bowl there. TIR. The wide bowl reminds me of the SP40 by Sofern, which is an excellent design. So we'll see that. Almost like a bluish light on this one, if I remember rightly. So let's have a look. So get that turned on, boosh, there you go. That's its lowest, obviously, and then double click for turbo. Look at that. Now, with this one, even though I actually like using this, and I've used this for running, watch, if I move slightly to the side, watch, it's not that, even though it's TIR, you're not getting that much peripheral, are you? Isn't that strange? And yet, it's made for outdoor activities. You would think it would be a bit more like that, but you do get a bit of push because of that. So it's something just to bear in mind. Very expensive. It was like $100 or something for one of these. Luminite did send me this for testing, so thank you for them. So pretty good. Let's have a look down for colour reproduction here. Pretty, like I say, when I compare this to other lights, I sometimes find this a little bit bluish, which I don't mind. I know some people don't like that. I don't mind. You know, you get the blue light brigade. Ooh, it, you know, damages you before bedtime and all that. Okay, maybe it does. Right, turn that off. Right, put that in the pocket. What have we got next? Let's have a look. Okay, this one feels like the Skill Hunt H03, getting old now, but very, very, very compact for an 18650. An older emitter now, but look at that TIR. And it does have sub modes, which I like. So we'll get that turned on. Should have quite a nice warm tint on this one. There, that's on. Got it in the wrong mode there. There. So not that bright look in comparison to the other ones, is it? Not a lot of push. Great up close. I've used this for working on the car and things. Excellent for that. I like the tint, so let's look at it on a natural foliage here. That's nice, and on the browns there, on the bark, it picks the bark out a bit more, the greens come out. It's nice, like I say, but it's starting to show its age, put it that way. And I never thought I got the claimed output. It feels like 700-ish, or maybe it's just the tint and the spread. But that is an option. And it's a 3-pointer headband, and it's very comfortable. So what else was I testing? I tested against the Cyansky H. This is the 6, if I remember right. Yes, the HS5R. It's an all-in-one. You can't take it out again. But it's got different emitter setups. You've got the main beam, which is here. And then you've got the secondary beams, which is here. So I'll show you that just quickly. It's quite bright, actually. I think it's underrated. Although, again, the price creeps up on these. So you click and hold. Very throwy look for a TIR. Look, go through the modes. There's its lightest. Brilliant. That's on, and again you can see that's the main beam. So let's look at that. And it's very piercing look, quite through, you see. Not a lot of spread on that. But sideways it's okay. You know, if I'm moving it like that, you just do not get a lot of peripheral, so not so good for certain things. And then you have your secondary modes, so you can turn that off and use the top button. So the top button you have red. So pretty good, and then you press it again, and you get red flash, and you press it again, and you get a high CRI. So sometimes you need a high CRI. Let's look down on here. You may or may not see this, depending on if you're looking at this in 10-bit colour, but I can tell the difference. That looks slightly better. So it's always nice to have a high CRI if you're camping and cooking and things like that, and you know, disarming bombs or whatever. So very nice. So turn that off. So that's just another option. It's like an all-in-one. That's like your more traditional. Okay, what else have we got here? I'm also testing it against the, this is getting on now, the Olight H2R Nova. I had some problems with this. It was flashing. I'll show you that. Nice warm tint on this, wide TIR. You can see it there. So we'll go to turbo, double press, if I can get it right, turn it on. There, that should be it, I think. I think that's it. Right, that's turbo. Very warm tint though, look. Now they claim that's something like nearly 2,000 lumens. I'm not so sure. Unless this battery has degraded over time, and I'll accept that could be the case, and the tint on this, you know. It just doesn't seem to be doing turbo. I don't think that's doing turbo, so double click should take you to turbo. That's its lowest. That's supposed to be turbo. Just feels like it's lacking. It used to be a lot brighter than that. I mean, up close it's nice and bright. That's fine, but it just doesn't feel like you're getting this. Feels like it's more like going into a high mode, like around 900-ish, 800-ish. So take these, what you're seeing here, with a pinch of salt. I don't want to misrepresent Olight. I know they get a lot of slagging off, and I don't want to add to that by misrepresenting them here, because this was flashing earlier, and I don't know if that means there's a problem with the battery, or it's not happy and it doesn't want to enter the top mode. So just bear that in mind. I'm not trying to set them up to fail there. Okay, what else did we have? Well, I tested it against good old SP40. This is the bargain light. So SP40 from Sofern. I mean, this is the initial thoughts on the Cyansky, so I'm not going to blab on about this. Nice wide bowl, orange pure reflector, dirt cheap, USB charging, 18650. So we'll get it turned on there. There, that's its lowest. Whoosh, there you go, turbo. Look at that. Pretty good for a budget light. That's pretty impressive. Peripheral is pretty good. Even if I move that, the peripheral's pretty damn good. I think that it's a good design, but it is a cheaper light. So the paint comes off and things like that. If you don't care about that though, that's not an issue, is it? You know, you might not care about that. Sorry, I had that right in the middle of the camera there, so let's do that again whilst rotating. Not bad, eh? Not bad. Let's try up in the trees. Not bad. Okay, but this is just to calibrate what you're seeing. So you think, well, I own that one and I know what that looks like to me. Okay. Also, just for laughs, I've got the Fireflies PL47. This is the Gen 2. It has the auxiliary lights. That's why that's lit up when it's not in use. It's a quad emitter, and it uses a 21700 cell. Older emitters, but watch. If I can get it to turn on. Right, there you go. Turbo. Boom, look at that. Problem is, yeah, it's a lot heavier. You know, it's heavier, bigger, more cumbersome. More light, bigger cell, but more weight. So you've got to ask yourself, what do you want? And this will step down. You know, you can't just wander around like this going, ha, look at this. You know, I've got a headlamp off a car. Well, you haven't, because after, 45 seconds, bang, bang, bye-bye, see you later. So it's the age-old question. I keep getting this on the channel. What is the brightest light? Well, it doesn't really matter what the brightest light is. There's other things come into play. How much peripheral vision do you want? How quickly does it step down? How long does the cell last? Are there secondary modes? What's the colour reproduction like? Is it, flickering away with pulse width? So you've really got to think about these things, and that's why I spend ages doing these reviews. And sometimes people say, it's spent too long. Well, I don't, because I'm trying to cover everything. So turn that off, and we'll go back to the light I'm supposed to be looking at. So I've got this on my head. So we'll turn it on. So click and hold. Boom, there you go. Like I say, it's double click for lock, and then click and hold for on, and click for 1.5 seconds. I think they quote 1.2 seconds. Let's just say 1.5-ish to change from mode 1 to mode 2. Mode 1's your main beam, and mode 2 is the secondary. So we'll show you that. So this is the lowest, low, medium, high, turbo. Look at that. It's even cutting through my breath there. Pretty good. And then you have your secondary modes, which I've showed you. I'm not going to show you them again. We'll walk along a little bit. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's just see if it steps down, because like I say, I haven't done a lot of testing on this. I've been at about 3 times in total. This is just an extra one. I like to test them alongside of the lights. It really helps me form an opinion on things. But let's have a look down on the river here. Let's travel down here a bit. I find that extremely interesting. Look at them side by side. For review purposes, I think it's so important to have a side-by-side. That's why I do a lot of side-by-side footage. Okay, so rather than slide down there my arse and make a fool of myself, I'll stand here, because that does look quite slippery. So you can see that river down there, look. Still doesn't seem to have stepped down. Haven't noticed it yet. And they're claiming 1300, so you'd expect at some point it may step down. It's not the 2000 range that you get with some of them, where it demands a step down to heat. Let me just test the heat. See, I've got my hand there on it, on the head. It's not that hot, actually. Not bad. Not detecting anything yet. The build feels great, feels solid. I'm quite happy with that on this. Anyway, so I should have really covered these things, but it is a 2-meter drop rating, not 1.5 that you get on most lights. Quite impressive. It has USB charging, Type C. Yeah, Type C, no more the old-fashioned types. I'll test if it's got power delivery at some point in the full review. Pretty impressed with it so far. I haven't been able to remove it out of its cage, which is the retention system, but I'll try with some long nose pliers. I've got some Nip-X in the house somewhere. I'll have a shot. I'll try with that. but very impressed so far. Cyansky have been pretty good. You know, they've been very receptive when I've sent them emails saying, well, I don't like this, or I like that. They listen. Some companies just, they blank you. So yeah, Sofern is another good one. They actually listen to what you've got to say, and I appreciate that. Because as a reviewer, you know, I'm not setting out to try and do one company over another. I simply see what I see, and as the old saying goes, you know, data doesn't care about your feelings. In other words, just what does the data say? If the data says this is good or bad, that's it. You see the river there, pretty impressed. I don't think that's step down, is it? Let's just double check. So we'll go back, low, medium, high, turbo. Gee, does that look the same? Hard to say, but I will test that. So very impressed. I'll continue because I've got a little bit way to go before I get back. But thank you very much for joining me. Full review up soon. Thank you to all the patrons and the usual guys who I talk to. Josie in Australia, Top Dog, and all the good guys who I converse with. I really enjoy what I do. So thank you very much for joining me. I'm off. I'm going to go and see if I can find a Bigfoot. So let's turn this off. Good night.